Hello and welcome to this video about working together with model logging. I'm Valentin Ziegner, and in this video we are going to look how we can work together with Flowable design. Therefore, I prepared a Flowable environment where I have here in the user management three different users. I have admin, I have John, and I have myself. And I'm going to start with my user. Now, when you typically work on models, and here I have just a sample application loan app included, then you can go ahead and change them as you want. Now, when you have multiple persons working at the same time on those models, you have a little bit of a coordination overhead, since you need to tell that you are working now on that model or somebody else is working on it. Otherwise, you might just override what the other person is doing. And to avoid that, we have in Flowable a technology called model locking. So with that, you can check out a model and say that you are the person currently working on this specific model. To configure that, you need to set a few properties for Flowable design. And I set up my environment with Docker Compose. So let's go ahead and just look at our Docker Compose file. So I'm just opening the Docker Compose file with an editor of my choice. Search in here for the Flowable design. And here I can now configure the properties. I already have a few Flowable design specific properties. They typically start with Flowable modeler, and after that app. Then I have the model locking there and enabled, which I can set to true. There's a second one around model locking, which is called Flowable Modeler app model locking dot auto lock on create, which basically will, once you create new models, lock them by default. Now let's, when we set both of them and restart it, let's see basically how that is going to behave. So it's now recreating my Flowable design container, and I could actually look here at the log from that container as well, where we see then how it is eventually started up. So that just takes a few seconds until Flowable design is started. We have in here now almost done. So we see now it started a Flowable design for us. So everything is now up and running. And when we go back to our Flowable design web interface and refresh the page, we see that now by default, everything is in a read-only mode. So in here, you see basically that I'm no longer able to type in here. So there's no cursor in here. I can still open everything. I can't change anything in there, however. In addition to that, you have those little locks here at the top, and one is for unlocking it, the other one is for locking it. So I can now go ahead in the next step and actually press that lock. Once I press that lock, I have locked that model. And with that, I can now change here the documentation, for example, if I want to. I can set an owner, assignee, so I can do all the changes which I would like to do. So you can modify everything. Also here you can drag and drop. I can now add a new task, so that's my test task, and then eventually go ahead and save it. Now, when another user now starts to basically look at that model, and here in a second incognito window, I'm signed in as John. John can now click on the loan app, and he is going to see that the user Valentin, so my user, is basically right now working on that case. Once the case is open for John, he still can see everything, obviously in the last status which I saved, and sees here at the top that it is locked by me, and there's no option to lock it anymore. There's an option to unlock it, however, that here is not basically filled out compared to the version which I see. Once I'm done with editing, I can go ahead and basically save everything and then unlock this model. And with that, basically, when John is now reopening that case, actually, John is going to see basically that it is now unlocked and can go ahead and lock it. Now, assuming that John has the lock, and John just went on vacation. When I now go back to my user, Valentin, and just refresh here, I still see that this log is acquired by John. Now, John is on vacation, so John can't unlock the log himself. And that's the reason why we have an option to force unlock it. So you see basically once you press the unlock button here that the log owner is John, and there's a log date basically here when John logged it. And we can remove John's log here with a force unlock. In case somebody is not on vacation, actually, you shouldn't do that, or at least talk to the person if you can have that log, since otherwise, whatever they have changed might be lost for them. Once unlocked, you can go ahead and lock it again. And then eventually, when you just worked on a few different things, you are going to end up with a lot of locked processes or models itself. So when I now just also go here to a form, just lock that one, since I would like to edit all of that. And eventually you are then done with what you would like to do. Now, in this case, you can go here tab by tab and unlock everything, but sometimes that's doesn't really scale, and we see all the logs here in the overview. So what you can do is actually you can go ahead and press that unlock button here in the user interface and either unlock all models within the app or unlock all models locked by you. Both of them is actually really helpful. So unlock all models locked by you is something which you can typically do after you implemented a feature. Unlock all models within the app is something which sometimes is useful to just do early in the morning before everybody starts working, that you can basically start with doing it without talking to anybody, since they have their logs already since a few days. Now, that's it from a small introduction about model locking itself. I hope you enjoyed that, and see you next time.